UPS and Amazon is finna lay off over 20,000 people. 20,000 people.
So reportedly another 9,000 people being let go from Microsoft. That's 15,000 in 60 days. What's going on?
Every time I think I'm not going to get emotional, I end up getting emotional. But basically, this is my second time in the past, I think 3 years, being laid off from, honestly, somewhat of a dream job.
I just got fired from my job. This was my pre-degree dream job we're talking about. I was obsessed with this place. And my boss texted me and she's like, how are you not going to show up to work? Like, you're fired.
The economy is hitting us where it hurts. And I know it feels like a lot of folks are on edge. We got people who just landed a job feeling like they finally got some stability, and then out of nowhere, they're laid off.
And I'm like, what the hell do you mean? Like, when was this? Like, she goes, you can't not, like, show up to work. Like, I had a bunch of tasks for you to do, and you didn't even come. Like, you didn't even tell me you weren't going to come. I waited for you the whole day, and you didn't show up. I had a bunch of things for you to do, like, a bunch of tasks. We ended up figuring it out here in the office, but it was supposed to be for you, and you didn't do it because you weren't here. So we had to all figure it out. I don't know who figured it out, but someone else did in the office. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she goes, yeah, you're fired. I don't want to hear it. And I'm like, but hear me out. I was there that day. How are you just gonna fire me when, like, you're not even letting me speak? She goes, how am I gonna let you speak if you didn't even come to work? And I'm like, I was there. Like, I was literally there. And who do you think completed all those tasks? I did. I completed my own tasks because I did go that day and I stayed all the way to the end. She goes, no, you weren't. Like, I didn't see you. And I'm like, but I was there. And she's like, all right, let's check the cameras. We checked the cameras, and guess who was there? Me. She's like, oh my God, I didn't even see you. You're so skinny, I didn't even see you.
Everybody is going to be literally applying for the same job. So that means if you apply for something, it's about a few more people that's applying for another job. When I tell y'all the ones that voted that orange man in office, okay? Not me. Y'all did that. And now y'all see the outcome of it. It's so terrible right now because we're finna hit a super big recession. Like, I'm telling you, $15 for people, if it's not more than $25 an hour, if you don't have a degree, none of those things, it's really not gonna matter. You're gonna have to get in where you fit, and that means getting any job that they have.
We gotta talk about this economy, y'all. From the struggles of finding new employment to the economic pressures we're facing, it's like a bad dream that just keeps repeating. And the stress is real. Folks are struggling to keep up with bills, to put food on the table, and it feels like the cost of living is just going up while the opportunities are going down.
So reportedly another 9,000 people being let go from Microsoft. That's 15,000 in 60 days. What's going on? It's a $3 trillion company making record profits every quarter, and really paying their top exec staff quite a bit of money. Seems like you could use some of that money and keep some employees around. I understand getting rid of low performers, but layoffs are historically high performers, to be honest with you. People that have been around for a decent amount of time, that do a lot of work for the company. I know personally teams that I've worked with, that I was on, have really been struggling since the 6,000 person layoff, and it's just going to get worse with this layoff. So hopefully Microsoft, figures it out and corrects course, but I think you're going to see a lot more of this going forward.
And while I'm so incredibly grateful to be given opportunities to work in really cool industries and with really cool people, it is draining. Not only is it really draining working corporate sometimes, but working in a field that tends to have a lot of layoffs, because even when you have a job, it never really feels that secure. And the irony of it is I'm a recruiter, and I have been for the last 7 years. So I literally work in hiring, and I work with people who either lose their jobs or are transitioning jobs all the time. But when it happens to you, you still don't really know what to do. And even when you know that the layoff is not your fault and there's not really much you could have done, even in this last role, I was literally promoted 3 months ago, and then last Friday was my last day. So even knowing that there's nothing I could have done and getting feedback that there's nothing that I could have done, it's hard, because a part of you is really proud of your work and where you've gotten in your career. And so it feels like rejection. when it gets taken away from you, and that part really sucks. I did not think this was going to be a come on here and cry video, because I've literally never done that on social media, but I was hoping maybe I was going to have something more inspirational to share. Unfortunately, at this time I do not. Just know that it sucks, and yeah, if this has happened to you, I'm in your boat, and it's okay.
I got laid off a week ago today, and I was extremely shocked, caught off guard. I had just gotten a new role. I had just gotten a raise. We got profit sharing. So I was laid off from I don't want to say the name, but it was all over the news. That's actually how we found out that layoffs were coming, was an article was released on CNBC News and put all over LinkedIn, and then someone at the company shared it in like the company group chat, and immediately our managers called us in and were like, we've got to have this emergency meeting and log out now and don't log back in until 10 o'clock tomorrow, and you'll find out your fate. And so that's what happened. So I logged in and learned that I was being laid off, right? So I was busy. I wasn't not doing anything. So it wasn't like, and the company was profitable. So it wasn't like we didn't have anything to do and the company was in bad shape. So, who knows what their motivations are. The layoff, or the way we were told we were laid off, I didn't, think was all that kind. And, even the actual process of being laid off, that we logged in, there was about a 5-minute video telling us we were, part of the people being, laid off. And I guess, I had to square my mind with the fact that, hey, you work from home, you promoted from home, you've gotten jobs from home, you've interviewed from home. So you have to be okay with being, laid off or let go from home, right? That's just the natural progression of things. But, I feel like even in that form, they still could have allowed us to ask questions, but it was just done.
In 2022, my organization let me know that they were going to be dissolving my business unit, but that I was fine. So I did what any good employee would do. I stayed the course. I didn't worry about it. I didn't start interviewing. I helped them shut everything down, only to find out in early 2023 that plan fell through, and I didn't actually have a job, and I was left standing there empty-handed, single income family, wife with 3 kids, not knowing what I'm going to do. The next 10 months were brutal. I got rejection after rejection. I turned down jobs thinking that I was going to bounce back and I could get into that pay range that I had left, only to find out that after I hit 4 months, 6 months, 8 months unemployment, it became that much harder. I was on the verge of bankruptcy. I couldn't pay my bills. I'd pulled out everything out of my 401k. I had maxed out credit cards. I'd stopped paying things that I could live without. We canceled everything. It's a story that you hear on this platform a lot. And that's why I post the things I do. And that's why I speak with as much passion as I speak with, because I was unprepared to hit the job market when it happened to me. I found myself doing contract work for a year, 1099 work for a year, and that's a video for a whole nother day, because that has its challenges. But I made changes, and the changes that I made put me in a position to where when that contract ended in November of last year, I was employed by January of this year. And that's why I have so much passion in the way that I speak. That's why I'll argue with you guys sometimes that, no, I don't have all the answers. Nobody does. If they say they've got a surefire way for you to get a job, they're lying to you. But you can't stick with the status quo and expect a different outcome. And that would be my message. As someone who spent 10 months unemployed, on the verge of bankruptcy, foreclosure, you name it, maintaining status quo is not going to move you in this market.
I've been seeing so many videos of people who got a job and were happy they finally got their foot in the door, and then bam, they're laid off. Like, people are out here struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to make ends meet.